Character exclusive unique equips are one of two approaches the Dragon Ball Legends developers can take in order to make old and outdated units meta relevant again, even past their initial release. And even though we have a bunch of those unique equips that were given to many different characters along the past few years, there are some that stand out. Those ones that made underwhelming units that didn't live up to the expectations on their initial release, actual meta threats that people have to deal with in ranked PvP. And I'm here to mention a few examples in this video. So let's go. The first unit we're going to talk about is LF Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This guy's unique equip dropped in the summer of 2021, and this was the first unique equip to have actual unique ability lines in one of its slots, being slot 3, and this method of putting new abilities in slot 3 is still used to this day in modern unique equips. Anyways, this thing dropped in the summer of 2021, as I said, for the 3rd anniversary headliner being LF Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that was considered at the time, and still is to this day, considered one of the worst anniversary units ever. Not to mention that this was our first Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and he was the 3rd anniversary headliner that got overshadowed by his counterpart being LF Corrupted Merge Zamasu. So he needed that redemption with this equip, and oh boy, this was insane. He got 35% damage, and this was at the time an insane amount. Also 35% to most base stats. Also, at the time, consider this was a 2021 equip, so very good amount of stats. And also the slot 3 had an anti-revive passive added to him, which gave him 50% damage if he takes out a revival unit. And at the time, one of the best units in the game was LF Revival Gohan that was running rapid with the hybrid team alongside Zenkai FSK and also LF Future Gohan. That was the best meta team at the time, the Hybrid Saiyan team. And if this guy was able to take out the Revival Gohan, he would get 50% damage and 2 extra Dragon Balls. That alone was insane to make him a huge meta threat. And the damage, the sheer amount of raw damage this equip gave him was insane. And that's what got him in contention for best unit in the game at the time. And not just that, this equip actually allowed him to age very well, being one of the best units in the game. Through the Legends Festival 2021, he was also being used alongside units like TAC Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, and he was also used alongside the Ultra of that celebration being Ultra Super Gogeta, also one of the best answers to him at the time, because he's green of course. And I remember there was a team of Yellow Majub, who was a very good unit at the time, next to this guy, and Ultra Super Gogeta. At the end of Legends Festival 2021, that team was insane. So yeah, very phenomenal equip, made this character what he needed to be during the 3rd anniversary. So yeah, I think for how underwhelming they made this guy on release, they did him justice with this equip. Fast forward to 2025, we're gonna talk about the equip for LF SSG Goku, one of the fan favorite units. This guy was released back during the 6th anniversary part 2. He was by far the worst premium unit out of all the anniversary characters. This guy, I wouldn't say he was bad on release, but the meta circumstances for him were terrible. The counterpart he released with was LF Ultimate Gohan. LF Ultimate Gohan was a purple unit that had an endurance nullifying long range blue card. And this guy had 0 teams. And the part 3 Ultra was a purple, being this broken dude. You can already see that you can already see that the meta was not going in his favor at all. But in January of 2025, 6 months after his release, he got this broken equip. Comparing these stats to what we see nowadays on equips, you would think this was a joke of an equip, but really and truly at the time this was ridiculous. 50% damage, a bunch of base stats, and slot 3 gave him one of the most important things he needed, buff cancellation. Buff cancellation, along with the fact that we had 0 purples at the time of this equip's release, made him a unit that has exceptional survivability. And the amount of strike damage this guy was doing actually made him one of the best units in the game at the time. And his base kit was already good in itself. I told you, he wasn't bad on release, it's just the meta that wasn't in his favor. He had an AoE green that allowed him to get his vanish back. His unique gauge, the equip by the way, gave him a 1 time at the start of battle, 100% unique gauge. The unique gauge allowed him to go type neutral, gave him cover null, double card draw speed, and allowed him to do excessive damage with his strike cards. And also, as I said, there was like 0 purples at the time because of the fact that we had insane yellows running the meta like Ultra Beast Gohan and Ultra Majin Vegeta, who were the 2 best units in the game. Movies also was such an insane team at the time, so this guy had the perfect meta for him. And also, I didn't mention that he aged exceptionally well. During the 7th anniversary, this guy was a part of the best team in the game. The best team in the game during the 7th anniversary part 1 was LF Blue UI Goku, Ultra Majin Vegeta, and this guy. That team was absolutely ridiculous, and this guy was a key core member of that team. And he only started aging out because of the massive power creep we got that basically like wiped 95% of the game during part 2 and part 3 of the 7th anniversary. So yeah, very deserved buff. A lot of the community were happy for this guy, and I'm one of those guys for sure. Fast forward to October of 2025, we got Red Fusion Zamasu's unique equipment. And this might be the best unique equipment ever. Red Zamasu released in January of the same year, 2025, and on release he was a very controversial unit. I personally think he was pretty decent. He had a two-way unique gauge that changes depending on if you're taking hits or using cards, but I think on release he couldn't really sustain that well, especially at low stars, to the point where he can utilize the full potential of his unique gauge. So what did this equip give him? Stats, stats, stats. This guy actually felt like a raid boss. He was actually unkillable, dude. The fact that you could just cycle the unique gauge again and again and again without this guy dying, because remember, he was healing with the unique gauge, he was disrupting you, and also his damage felt insane, so it was basically a stat gap at this point. The slot 3 didn't matter that much. Sure, it gave him stuff that he needed, like cover null on entry. He didn't have that. He needed to fill up the unique gauge first. So that's a big plus. It also gave him a card on entry, and I think attribute downgrade nullification. All of that is cool, but it was more so just the stat gap. The stat gap alone allowed this guy to be like the best unit in the game at the time, alongside his ultra counterpart. He didn't have any second life, but he's gonna disrupt you. He's gonna sit there, he's gonna keep healing, he's gonna disrupt, he's gonna tank. And he's gonna do absurd damage to you. Even to blue unit, he didn't have any way of going type neutral offensively. It did not matter. This guy would pierce through you even if you're blue. And this guy was so good to the point where he was even considered by many, including me, the best unit in the game during part 1 of Legends Festival. This guy, I think, was better than both Legends Festival 2025 headliners. I think he was better than Fusing Super Gogeta, and I think he was far better than Janemba. Where we really started to see this guy falling off is the release of Blue FSK. I mean, you can't blame this guy. Blue FSK is like one of the best units ever, and he's blue, so of course he's gonna murder Zamasu. Absolutely generational plat though, one of the best ever. Now we move forward to 2026, which was basically the year of unique equips. Starting with the first ridiculous unique equip being LF Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This equip released at the end of March 2026. In a random Daima campaign, they just released this equip. Didn't even lead up to a GT campaign or anything. They just released it. And when you look at this equip, look at the stats, man. 250% damage, 200% damage guard, 100% to base stats. Okay, granted, this guy's a 2022 Zenkai, so he kinda needed those stats, but even with that, he stat gapped the whole game. And he fit perfectly, like actually perfectly, with the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku that was suffering at the time because he didn't have a GT ally. This guy just spawned in there, being the GT ally this guy needed, being a yellow unit that covered him from purples like Legend Super Vegeta at the time. The slot 3 gave him a lock-in that actually allowed him to snipe units again like Legend Super Vegeta pretty easily because of the stat gap. And he was also supporting GT members thanks to that equip. So the combination of this guy alongside Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku quickly became the best duo in the game, and they were probably both the two best units in the game for a very short amount of time. Very short-lived equip, I should say. He's still pretty good to this day. Don't get me wrong, but he's very difficult to use because he is glued. He needs to be used alongside Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who is, facing some problems right now. Legend Super Vegeta is pretty dominant. I wouldn't say dominant, but he's very good. He's like a top 5 character right now. Plus the fact that we have a bunch of Reds right now in the meta. Red Broly, that just got a unique equip, Ultra Gogeta Blue. Both are insane, top 5 level Red units. So yeah, pretty short-lived, but in the prime, in that like 3-week, 4-week span after the equipment release, this guy was an absolute beast and an absolute menace in the meta. Very, very good equip. Let's move to the next one. So next up, we have an equip that released like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku equip, which was the unique equipment for LF Revival Nappa into Vegeta. This is an equip much like Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Mechanically, didn't really give him much. It's just pure raw stats. Stat machine. also like Red Zamasu. So the approach they're taking with these equips, I think, is pretty reasonable for units that don't really have the most amount of like insane mechanics. Just give them a bunch of stats, man. Make them stat machines. Especially for Nappa, it's very fun for characters like Nappa. Anyway, this guy released in 2024, and I would say this guy, out of all the units that are going to be talked about today, this guy was like the best one on release. On release, I don't think this guy was bad by any means. He was like a mid unit. The definition of like a mid slash good character. Right? You could say he was good. Like he was good. He was good. He was good on release. Used next to Ultra Golden Frieza. Anyway, this equip, when you look at it, as you guys can see on the screen, again, the stats, dude. 180% damage guard and 250% damage for a 2024 unit was absolutely absurd. The base stats as well, as you can see. The slot 3 gave him pretty good stuff, covering all on entry, type neutral defensively, which helped against units like Bardock, who was very dominant, Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku as well, that we just talked about, and also more unique gauge charge rate. So pretty good, I think, pretty good stuff. This guy, he has the long range blue. Nappa is very known after this equip for his blue card being a very dumb snipe. In most cases, it's just a snipe blue card. Vegeta, once you revive, of course the revival layer is very good, adds extra safety to any team. Once you revive, Vegeta with his green card can go type neutral offensively, and he's also capable of doing a bunch of damage, and still to this day they're considered one of the best options on most of their teams. Not core, but still a very good option you can use on any team. Pretty dominant equip, I don't have much to say since this was just another instance of stat gap. So we're here with the two most recent unique equips, starting with the older one. I'm recording this video on June 3rd, so this equip released a week ago for the 8th anniversary part 1 for LF transforming Yellow Goku Black. Oh man. We could not believe our eyes when we first saw the performance of this guy with this equip, man. Look at this, 70% to base stats, 170% damage guard, 190% damage for a defense unit. On release, this guy was of course considered the worst Legends Festival unit pretty much. One of the more underwhelming headliners for any celebration ever during Legends Festival 2024, mainly because of his unique gauge that couldn't reset pretty easily because he didn't have a self-generating blue/green system to actually be able to reset it, which this equip fixed the option with the slot 3 on battlefield entry. As you can see, when his unique gauge is full, he's gonna get a blue card and 50 key to use that blue card. Very, very good. Also on transformation, he got a full hand with this slot 3 effect. But it's again mainly just a stat gap type of thing. The stats on this guy, ridiculous. He stat gaps the whole game, which basically makes him the best unit in the game because his base kit is already so good. It's a 2024 kit. So you see how today we have like cover null. When somebody has cover null, he has it for like 5 counts. When somebody has type neutral, he has it for like 5 counts. Back during 2024 when this guy released, nobody had stuff for 5 counts. Everything was going for 10, 15 counts. So this guy on entry has type neutral defensively for 10 timer counts. Yeah, that's dumb right now. Making him basically invincible against even reds. Like, you think OGL Blue is gonna damage this guy? Not to mention that his blue cards were an absolute nuke. The duo ship between him and Ella Rose is absolutely ridiculous. Blue Rose, of course, covering him from reds. Not like he needs to be covered, but I guess he's covering him. Also, Yellow Rose pretty much fixed the only weakness of Legend Rose, being the fact that he can get sniped easily by blues, since you can see in slot 3 right here, we got buff cancellation on standby against blue cards. Very ridiculous unit, very ridiculous plot. Right now, he's one of the best, if not the best unit in the game. Very needed redemption. I love this guy, I love this guy's animations, and I'm glad he's back. Last but not least, we have the most recent unique equip, and I was actually doubting on whether or not I'm gonna include this on here, cause it's literally just the first day of this equip's release. But I think I saw enough to the point where I have to include Red Broly's equip here, man. So Red Broly released in August, I think, of 2024. He wasn't really that bad on release as well. Like, he was pretty good, but I think mainly the problem with him was the fact that he released. So the main gimmick of the character is the anti cover change ability, which doesn't let the enemy cover change. That was pretty much directly countered by the best unit in the game at the time, which was Ultra Super Saiyan for Gogeta. Like Gogeta, if you switch into Gogeta at the time with a full gauge, while this guy still had his anti-cover change ability, he would just override it. It doesn't matter. So the meta he released in, it's a circumstance, just like SSG Goku, the meta he released in was pretty, like, it was not in his favor at all. Gogeta 4 was in every single game, so pretty much this guy was just a nothing burger kind of release. But with this equip, this guy is one of the best damage, if not straight up the best damage dealer in the game. The amount of damage this guy can do, it's actually ridiculous, dude. It's actually ridiculous. The equip on slot 3 gave him unique gauge charge rate, which is so damn good. Also fixed, the equip gave him key recovery and arts cost reduction, which actually helped him because he was known for having key issues on release. The unique gauge charge rate is so insane just because this guy's unique gauge allows him to grab cover null and also allows him to get 2 extra cards. So with this guy, you just keep on spamming and spamming. You get your unique gauge, you keep comboing and comboing. He's basically a combo machine. You can't switch out against him because if you switch out, especially if your enemy only has 2 battle members left, it's basically a lock-in. You can't switch out. When you switch out, you're taking damage. Against the yellow, it's gonna be a lot of damage. And I think something that is very slept on right now is the fact that his green card cancels buffs. You know why that's slept on? Because yellow Goku Black that we just talked about, which is like the best unit in the game, he could have walled off reds just because of his 10 counts of defensive neutral. But this cancel buffs on green just nullifies that. So Broly actually is one of the few units that proactively hurts Goku Black. Even though Goku Black has a bunch of healing, insane tanking, you're not always gonna use a green card. But even when he doesn't have a green card, he can still damage Goku Black just because he got pretty much the same treatment when it comes to stats. I know he's not as good defensively as Goku Black, like it's not even close. And also the base form of this guy is pretty weak, you just want to transform as soon as possible. But on the offensive end, he's an absolute beast that you have to be careful of every time you face him. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Let me know in the comment section below if I missed any units that got an insane unique equip and I didn't mention them in this video. And also let me know which unit do you think got helped the most with a unique equip. So thank you guys for watching the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.